All right, so I'm here today. I'm going to show you the new key features to our midsize scrubber line called the GeneSys. So first and foremost, I'm Josh Enfield from the Betco Corporation.
Hello.
There's some really neat features to this machine that we haven't seen in scrubbers to date. The first key feature that I want to show you is actually our solid chemical technology. So what I have here, I have our pH 7 neutral floor cleaner. This is not going to harm any of your floor finish. It's not going to do anything but create surfactants, and surfactants are just a fancy word for soap, but create surfactants that grab onto the dust, the dirt, the grime that's on floors, and when you mix it with water, help carry it away. Why do we like to show scrubbers instead of a mop and bucket? Mop and bucket, you really are just putting dirty water, spreading it around. The nice feature of this auto scrubber, one is that we have our AeroFlex technology on our squeegees. So what that means is when you take this off, and by the way, it's just a simple 2 hand cranks to get this off. So no need to really fuss about it. But so we have these little AeroFlex notches on the squeegee. What that allows for is, traditional squeegees, if you're going over tile and grout or some floor surfaces that are, uneven, we'll say for lack of a better word, uneven, you can lose a lot of air suction just by having this the way it is. We've developed these little notches so that as you're going over, we're gaining 27% more suction for our vacuum to get the water up off the floor. And what I'll do is when we go over some of these uneven areas, we will showcase how well that we're getting the water off the floor, because it's a safety issue. Sometimes your customers are doing rooms or hallways or floors while people are in their building, so we don't want people to fall. It's just another way that we can highlight the great way that this can clean your floors and leave your facility. So again, we're going to put this back on there. And how easy was that, Lyle?
Very easy.
That 2 hand cranks, and you're off to the races. I'd also like to point out while I'm down here that if you'll notice, we don't have the pedal that a traditional scrubber would put on there. So no more fumbling and bumbling with trying to get your deck down. We have a nice little feature here. So you have your knob that, if you see, we have 3 different features. We have your 60-pound pad down pressure for daily cleaning. We have your 85 for your intermediate cleaning for, if you have, some tougher soils, a greasy cafeteria, or something where you just need a little more of an oomph. We can hit it, set it to the medium. Then we have our 110 pounds of down pressure right here, Kev, if you want to zoom in on that. We can actually get into top scrubbing and recoating as well as stripping your floors just with this machine. So the great benefits of this is no longer do you need a swing machine or an orbital floor machine and a wet dry vac. You have it all in one. So back to another great key feature. We have our solid chemical technology. Now, again, I've explained this is our floor cleaner. Well, what's this little blue thing? We developed this, and again, we at Betco, we're very innovative. We like to go above and beyond when it is. We like to go above and beyond so that we can give the tools to the people that need it the most, the people that are, cleaning the facilities. So this is actually a defoamer puck. No longer do you need to rely on glugging in, a capful or a cup or, some sort of denomination to your defoamer. As the water comes out and rolls over our defoamer puck, it's going to keep the foam down in the recovery tank so that it's just another way to protect the vacuum. Yes, we have our, well, ping pong balls, because that's been the standard for years and years and years of these auto scrubbers.
And it works.
And it works. Well, we want to go a step above to make sure that the foam really isn't getting in that vacuum, because it could really do a lot of damage. And I don't want to sell you a scrubber, every year. I want something that's going to last. I want something that you are going to get a lot of use out of. And I want something that's just really easy for you guys to use. So the great thing is both of these pucks will yield you 350 usable gallons of product. Now, Josh, it's a solid chemical. Well, how are we getting it on the floor? Great question. So right here, we have our onboard unit. And as you can see here, I have a puck in there already. So what happens is we can fill this tank up with just water. The water comes over and erodes over, and it almost gives the solid chemical a shower. So what happens is it erodes over this and it spits it out right here on the floor, right where your scrubber deck meets the floor. You can fill this up. Like I said, 350 gallons. That's filling this tank up 26 times with just water before you have to change out this puck. Now, go ahead, Mr. Kevin. Ask me, well, what happens? Is there any waste? How do you get that puck out of there?
How do you get that puck out of there?
Well, that's the beauty of it, Kev. You don't have to get the puck out of there. So there is an onboard light that comes on. SoliChem refill. The other beautiful part about this is when that light goes on and you got to put another puck in, you put another puck right on top of there, making sure that you have zero waste. That's another great benefit of these pucks is, you could go through gallons of product and you're creating a lot of different waste with, the plastic bottles that you're throwing out. This helps alleviate that. So not only is it good on your time, your money, your labor, it's also, beneficial for the environment so that we're lessening our carbon footprint. And that's true for the defoamer puck too. You can just tell. Now I know that looks kind of nasty.
It's been demoed.
It's been demoed. Yeah. You can see that it's working.
That's what it does.
So what we're going to do after I finish these features, we're actually going to show you how it works. I'm going to put these back. Another key feature that we have is our wet battery protection. Now, Lyle, have you ever had to look into your wet batteries to see the level of the distilled water that's in there?
Yes, I have.
How much of a pain is that?
Can be a real pain.
Have you ever had battery acid get on you or spill on, the floor or get on your jeans? Have you ever dropped any acid?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about this little piece of equipment right here, so this is just a quick connect. You can see that we have these are on there so you can't even get into the batteries. We developed this because, again, we're all about safety. We don't want you having to mess with any of the battery acid or the distilled water. So when these batteries need to be filled, there's an indicator light right here. You can see distilled water. You're pouring it on the batteries. That will pop on. What happens at that point? The deck shuts off. The vacuum shuts off. That's to protect you so that you aren't overusing these batteries. The nice thing is it still gives you enough juice to get the battery, it still gives you enough juice to get the machine back to where you need to charge it. We get it back to where you want to charge it. This little quick connect snaps on here, easy peasy. You can hear that. That goes on, and again, this is after you've already charged your batteries, because what happens when we are charging the batteries is we're heating up that distilled water that's in there, and if you fill this before you charge it, you could overflow it, and we want to protect the batteries. So you drop this part right into the distilled water. This part is connected to your batteries. You squeeze that, sucking up the distilled water. You're watering your batteries now. without having to look in there, without having to freehand pour it, without having to be unsafe about it. Once this is rock hard, you're filled. You take this off. Again, quick connect. So because of this, we're actually going to warranty the batteries for a year. Now, we also have our HEPA filter. We have a nice feature here. Do you have customers that work on their own machines? You know, I'm sure Bill isn't doing all of them. Cool thing is, you could take this right off. You have access to your deck. Now, there's a couple different bolts here that you could actually take these off. You know, take it off here and here. You can pull this out, put it on your workbench so that you're not trying to fuss with being under the machine and working on it. And it's actually just a nice way that we can make sure that this is easy to work on, because a lot of machines, it's very tough to work on them. It's difficult. You can fill from the front, and then we can come over here. You can also fill from the back. Now, I also would like to point out the squeegee. This is, again, this is our 20-inch orbital unit. Our squeegee is 30 inches long. Standard doorway of a school, so if you're cleaning your hallways, you got a 32-inch doorway, you can go right in and start cleaning your classrooms without having to take this squeegee off. Now, I did already show you how easy it is to take it on and off, but if you don't have to take it off, again, where's that going to save you? Time and labor. This will run for about 3.5 hours runtime on a full charge. Now, it will run, it does depend on if you have your down pressure set at 110 pounds or 60 pounds. But again, you'll get about 3.5 hours out of this bad boy. To drop the squeegee, just like that. And look at how well that vacuum is sucking. So you can adjust your speed right here. Now you can go as slow or as quick as you'd like, but it's just a knob. We have an onboard computer system, but it is not so cumbersome where it makes it confusing for you to operate, or, you know, realistically make it so that it breaks on its own. Simple tools make for simple solutions. Now, right here, you can empty it. And the nice thing about the drain is it's at the lowest point, and there is a slant on the recovery tank so that when you are cleaning this out after you use it, you get all that water and all that, you know, the slurry of what was on the floor into your slop sink or wherever you are draining this. Now, if you have one of these and you don't want to use the solid chemical technology all the time, maybe you are stripping and recoating and you don't want to use your solid chem, well, you can still use your fast draw chemical management system to fill this up with a different cleaner. You simply just turn off the solid chem right here. And while we're down here, Kev, you have your onboard charger already built in, so you don't have to worry about getting it somewhere where there's a big old battery charger. So again, it makes it easier for you guys to operate. So now I'm gonna run this. Two more things that I do want to point out is you can actually control your water output right here. So we're gonna live about right here for our daily cleaning. And I do have, if you're in an industrial setting and maybe not a school setting, and you're worrying about some, well, let's see here, some tire marks. So we have Grease Solve, which is our probiotic degreaser. The nice thing about this is there's no harsh chemicals. We have our, for lack of a better word, we have our bugs that are acting like Pac-Man. When these get onto surfaces like concrete that is porous, you have your microbes that are acting like Pac-Man. So that leaves your floors a lot cleaner, and it helps with some of the slip resistancy. You know, if you got oils or, you know, other types of spills, it's going to help clean while you're not cleaning. So right now, and we do have our grease solve in the puck. I have that puck in there right now. I'm going to slap this on. And we're going to drop the deck. We're going to do a little cleaning in here. Again, nice zero turn so that when you are getting into your corners and tight spaces, you can go forward, you can go reverse. This would be a great addition to any cleaning fleet. So to operate it, you have this little metal bar. All you have to do is, and this is very comfortable for, you know, people that are constantly working with their hands. I'd also like to point out that this is only 65 decibels. You could run this in nursing homes. You could run it in schools. You could run this in libraries. And you're still getting a nice, quiet clean. So we're going to work this a little back and forth. We're going to slow it down a little bit. We're going to take care of some of these tire marks that have been embedded into these floors, and see how well that we can get them up. Now you can already see the slurry that we are creating here. That's just the down pressure and the chemical working. Again, I filled this up with just water, and we're getting a nice surfactant onto the floor, as you can see. And I don't know if you want to zoom in, but look at the dirt that we're pulling up just from a couple passes. Now I'm double scrubbing right now, and that's beneficial because you want to give the chemical a little bit of time to work its magic. But the beautiful thing is, regular mop and bucket, this is what would be on the floor. You know, it's very tough to pick that up. Well, with our nice squeegee, if you look at this zero turn, and look at these cracks. Am I leaving a heck of a lot of water behind, or is that picking that right up? I mean, you can see the cleaning path. This was a pretty dirty floor, and I'm, you know, scraping my hands. Yeah, we got a couple loose rocks, but that's going to happen on a floor like this. Now, Kev, you can already see, and again, this is a floor that you don't have to have 1,000% picked up and clean, but you can already see, where did those tire marks go? Now I'll pick the speed up. So again, you can turn a job that used to take you a couple hours into a job that's only going to take you maybe a fraction of that. And again, I'm still just talking at a normal tone, and that's how quiet this machine is. So it's just a nice key feature. Then when we're all done, we clean out the tank. We want to make sure that we're keeping our scrubbers in tip-top shape, and that's just what's going to help with elongating the life of this bad boy. Again, these are made by the Betco Corporation in Bowling Green, Ohio. We make them right here in America, and you can buy this at your local janitorial distributor, such as Riley Maintenance Systems in Enwell, New York.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Kev. Thanks for having me.